I've got this Christmas jumper. It's not really a Christmas jumper, but I feel as if it's Christmassy because it makes me look like a Christmas tree. Hey guys, what's up? It's Beta. It's been a long time actually for a review to be on this channel, and I do apologise for that. I thought I'd come back and do a slightly different type of review. Usually when I do a review, in the past, it's either anime, I've done, or at least I've filmed, and just never ended up uploading some book reviews. Books are a big part of my life, but as of late, I just have not had the time to read them. So when I thought, I'll come back and review some books, it's not the usual type of books I'm going on about. It's actually something called an audiobook. It's been around for a while, but I've only just started to divulge myself into it. I've never listened to an audiobook until about a month ago, and I thought, what is better than sitting down and reviewing something slightly different? What is the harm? Audiobooks are so much different to normal books. I thought, well, yeah, someone's reading you a book, but it actually is so different than sitting down and reading something in your hand. It's someone's interpretation of someone's words. And then you listen to it and accept that is actually happening. That is going on, it's exactly the tone that it should be, and it was completely mind-boggling for me, and I thought, well, why not give it a go? And I did. I signed up, I got a membership, and I bought my first ever audiobook, which was No Other Darkness by Sarah Hilary. By the way, my reaction to someone reading me an audiobook and then me being able to sit down and do other things apart from read, doing two things at once, my mind was blown. My mind was like, what? This is amazing. I can do two things at once. This is amazing. I can time manage so much better now. Now that I have listened to a book from Audible, I am probably never going back, but I thought I would review this whole experience from head to toe, from the actual book to the narrator, and whether or not actually it's worth your money to sign up to Audible. Not all cherry blossoms, there are some things wrong with it, but I'll get to that. Like I said before, I used my credit. You get credits, you sign up for a membership, you usually just straight away get the one per month membership, which basically means you get one credit, which usually means one book that basically is cheaper than any other book on the site. I got No Other Darkness by Sarah Hilary, which is the second book of this Marnie Rome series. This series is probably my favourite female detective series of all time, especially in the modern era of writing female detectives. I do feel that, on a side note, Sarah Hilary really nails Marnie Rome's character. Marnie Rome is likeable as well as she is intelligent, as well as she is just an all-round interesting character without letting anything be overbearing. But No Other Darkness, I did buy the actual book, but I didn't get time to read it at all. I was just had so much to do because of my job. I just don't get time to sit down and read. When I saw this was actually an audiobook, I got really excited, so I bought it, and I can tell you now, I wasn't disappointed. Not in the slightest. First of all, when I decided to do the review of this audiobook, I had to do it in a bit of a different way. I realised that not only am I reviewing a book, and not only am I reviewing Audible in this video, I have to review the narrator. I have to review everything the narrator does, right? Because the narrator is making you... It's kind of like when your mum was reading Harry Potter and then you read it yourself and you read it in a completely different way. That's what it was like for me. Because if the reader doesn't do it right, then the whole book suffers. The characters suffer, the scenery suffers, and the type of writing style suffers. Everything suffers if the reader isn't right for the book. And so when I decided to review this, I was like, hey, you've got to actually do that as well. You've actually got to find a way to review not only the book, not only Audible, but you've got to review the reader as well. So let's just do a slight outline of the book. The book is written by Sarah Hilary. Sarah Hilary debuted her first crime novel and the first one of the Marnie Rome series a couple of years ago, and the book was called Someone Else's Skin. Honestly, I was captivated by that book. I wasn't expecting it to end like it did. Honestly, it was one of those, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. And it was that honest, like, oh my god, like, honestly, you didn't even think it. It didn't even cross your mind that how it ended. No one who I talked to said, oh yeah, I saw that coming. No one I talked to. And honestly, that was amazing. So when I heard that No Other Darkness was coming out, I did, like I said, I bought the real book. But I was so determined to listen to this book because I love the series. As far as I know, as far as I knew when I purchased the book, No Other Darkness followed from the first book. So honestly, I loved Someone Else's Skin, right? I loved it. So seriously, before I review this book, please go read Someone Else's Skin, because Someone Else's Skin is the best crime novel written by a woman. It just best crime novel, best crime novel by a woman. So No Other Darkness is a lot darker than Someone Else's Skin in the sense of like its topic. It covers a lot of things that I've never personally seen covered in the way that Sarah Hilary covers it in this book. There's child death, there's mental health within families, there's the mental health carrying on in other people, and how it affects other people who aren't really related to that. And I think that Sarah Hilary really did a good job in covering those topics. What I like about her writing style when covering those topics is that she's never biased to that character. She will say whether or not that character is wrong. She'll say whether or not the mental illness was this, that. It was very much written in a way that she wasn't offending anyone with that mental health, with that mental health issue. She does it in a very clever way that makes you feel as though she, one, knows what she's going on about, and two, makes you feel comfortable reading it, but then also uncomfortable because it's like, oh, this happens. Which I think is really clever, and I just loved it. And also what I like about it is that she covers mental health, and she doesn't then make the characters follow that typical mental health trope. And it happens a few times in films and all that sort of stuff, so it's really lovely to see that no tropes that I find offensive happened within the book. So the general premise of these types of books is that someone is reading it to you. Every audiobook kind of states, oh, this is narrated by. And this book was narrated by someone called Imogen Church. I've never heard of her before, but I have heard that she's quite a good narrator. And so when I heard her, I was quite pleased in the sense because of how she read the book. Church has a very listenable voice. What I like about her is that she doesn't make things drag out. She speeds up suspense parts that I know that I would speed up in my head if I was reading it myself, and she would slow things down at places that I know that I would read a bit slower. She also voiced the characters. She did like different tones to match the characters. Which I found quite surprising because I've never listened to an audiobook before, so I didn't know that they did that. So when she voiced male characters, I was quite pleasantly surprised because I was like, oh, she actually did that. No one else came in and was like, I'll do the men parts, No, it was her, and that was quite nice to hear. Of course, a female doing a male voice is never 100% anyway, and I think it's the same for men who do female voices. It's always going to sound a little bit different. But I was really actually happy that she did it, because it then just made everything feel a little bit more real, a bit more alive, and in a way it just made it a lot better. Because I think when we read books, even though we do little voices in our heads, we never actually hear them. We just think we hear them, if you know what I mean. So to hear it is actually a lot better. It makes the characters just seem a lot more alive. And that's what I liked about it. Imogen Church did a very, very good job. And for my first audiobook, I think she made me love the book a lot more because of how she read the book. She did it a lot of justice, and I hope she does the third one, because otherwise it's just a bit weird. I hope that they keep the same narrator for every book. What I loved the most about this book wasn't the amazing character building, it wasn't the amazing suspense, it wasn't the big oh my god at the end. It was actually how Imogen described the scenery, but then also how Sarah Hilary wrote about the scenery. Between like all the action, all the suspense, or everything, how she described people, how she described the scenery, and how she described rooms, it was just all very realistic. So yeah, I really enjoyed how she described things in a very natural way. Honestly, overall, that book was just stunning to listen to, and I got so much done. Like, I had it in my headphones on my phone, and I was cleaning, I was writing, I was doing art. I was doing so much whilst listening to a book. You don't get that when you read a book. If you read a book, you've got to dedicate sitting down with a cup of tea or a cup of cocoa, and you've got to read. But with an audiobook, you can just do anything. You can drive, you can clean. Like I said, you can just do everything. And I think that's honestly why I love it so much. But then I do have to talk about one in particular thing that is negative about Audible, and that is its memberships and how to pay for books that are extra to your memberships. So how it works, or at least how I see it works, you can change your membership, but it then only works for the next month or something like that. But if you only have, for instance, like me, you only get 1 credit a month, because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to change the membership. If you've, like I did with Noah Darkness, I finished the book well early in the month. So I went to look for other books to read. I found a few that I really liked the look of. But the pricing was shocking to me, because if you suddenly want a second book, I just suddenly realised in that moment there's only 2 things you can do. You either wait for next month to get another credit, or you pay £25 for another book that's outside your credit reach. And I think that's honestly shocking, because I could get a hardback for £14 from Wetherspoons. Not Wetherspoons, Waterstones. What the frick? From Waterstones, but same thing, right? You could get a hardback for less, and hardbacks are expensive. So it really shocked me that a book can be £25. I understood it. I understand why. They've got to pay the narrator, they've got to pay the service and all the rest of it. They've got to do a lot of things with that money. But it shocked me all the same. I was honestly just like, whoa, okay, so there's only really 2 choices for members of this service. That's a little bit cutthroat. Either do this or pay, you know. It's a little bit like, okay, that's great. That's the only negative thing about the service, if I'm honest with you. You're kind of limited whether or not you pay or stay, you know, like sort of thing. So, but yeah, that's the only real thing that I find negative about it, and that is the money side of it. But the actual service, if you're like me, you have a full-time job, you don't really get a lot of time when you get home, because you get home really, really late to read. Really, you just go straight to bed, but you might be lying there for a little while. You can just pop in your headphones and listen to Audible. This isn't sponsored, of course, because I'm not popular enough for the service, but please do go to Audible and do give it a go. Even if you're like one of those people like I was, who's like, it's not really reading if you do Audible, what do you want about? No, it's honestly worth the service. Yeah, it's worth it. But yeah, I can see why people won't want the service as well. This is what I'm trying to say. People wouldn't want the service because it is about £7 odd a month for even the 1 credit a month membership. But what you got to get out of that is that you're getting a book for that is usually £25. You're getting it for like 1 credit, which is about your £7, if you know what I mean. So you're getting it kind of cheaper. But again, it's the actual like membership thing where you just basically either wait for your next credit or you don't get another book. You do a 30-day trial, so yeah, give it a go and read Someone Else's Skin or Know the Darkness. I will eventually do more reviews for this type of service. I actually really enjoyed doing this review. At the moment I am listening to Strange the Dreamer. I've forgotten who it's by, but it's so different to No Other Darkness, again, because it's a different narrator, and you're like, whoa, he reads it completely differently to what Imogen does. I might do that next, or I might do another book. I might do the third installment of Sarah Hillary's Money Room series. So until then, that's all I've got for now, but please let me know what you're reading down below, or if you use the Audible service. What is the one you're listening to right now? What is your favourite audiobook? Please give me recommendations what to listen to and what to review. Till then, that's all I've got for you. I've been Beta, and I'll see you next time. Bye.